In order to incite seekers after power to a misuse of power, we have set all forces in opposition one to another, breaking up their liberal tendencies toward independence. In this end, we have stirred up every form of enterprise, and we have armed all parties. We have set up authority as a target for every ambition. Of states, we have some gladiatorial arenas where a host of confused issues contend. A little more, and disorders and bankruptcy will be universal. Babblers, inexhaustible, have turned into oratorical contests the sittings of Parliament and administrative boards. Bold journalists and unscrupulous pamphleteers daily fall upon executive officials. Abuses of power will put the final touch in preparing all institutions for their overthrow, and everything will fly skyward under the blows of the maddened mob. All people are chained down to heavy toil, by poverty more firmly than ever, than they were chained by slavery or even serfdom. From these, one way or another, they might free themselves. These could be settled with, but from want, they might never get away. We have included in the Constitution such rights as to the masses appear fictitious and not actual rights. All these so-called people's rights can exist only in an idea which can never be realized in practical life. What is it to the proletariat laborer, crushed by his lot in life? If talkers get the right to babble, if journalists get the right to scribble any nonsense side by side with good stuff, once the proletariat has no other profit out of the Constitution save only these pitiful crumbs which we fling them from our table in return for their voting in favor of what we dictate, in favor of the men we place in power, the servants of our agentur. The people under our guidance have annihilated the aristocracy, who were their one and only defense and foster mother for the sake of their own advantage, which is inseparably bound up with the well-being of the people. Nowadays, with the destruction of the aristocracy, the people have fallen into the grips of merciless money-grinding scoundrels, who have laid a pitiless and cruel yoke upon the necks of the workers. Then we appear on the scene, as alleged saviors of the worker, from this oppression which we proposed onto him, to enter the ranks of our fighting forces, socialists, anarchists, communists, to whom we always give support in accordance with an alleged brotherly rule of the solidarity of all humanity, of our social masonry. The aristocracy, which enjoyed by law the labor of the workers, was interested in seeing that the workers were well fed, healthy, and strong. We are interested in just the opposite. Our power is in the chronic shortness of food, physical weakness of the worker, because all that this implies he is made the slave of our will, and he will not find in his own authorities either strength or energy to set against our will. Hunger creates the right of capital to rule the worker more surely than it was given to the aristocracy by the legal authority of kings. By want and the envy and hatred which it engenders, we shall move the mobs, and with their hands we shall wipe out all those who hinder us on our way. When the hour strikes for our sovereign Lord of all the world to be crowned, it is these same hands which will sweep away everything that might be a hindrance thereto. The humans have lost the habit of thinking unless prompted by the suggestions of our specialists. Therefore, they do not see the urgent necessity of what we, when our kingdom comes, shall adopt at once, namely this, that is the essential to teach in national schools one simple, true piece of knowledge, the basis of all knowledge, the knowledge of the structure of human life, of social existence, which requires division of labor, and consequently the division of men into classes and conditions. It is essential for all to know that, owing to difference in that objects of human activity there cannot be any equality, that he who any act compromises a whole class cannot be equally responsible before the law with him who affects no one but solely his own honor. The true knowledge of the structure of society into the secrets of which we do not admit the humans, but demonstrate to all that the positions and work must be kept within a certain circle, that they may not become a source of human suffering arising from an education which does not correspond with the work which individuals are called upon to do. After a thorough study of this knowledge, the peoples will voluntarily submit to authority and accept such position as is appointed them in the state. It is the present state of knowledge and the direction we have given to its development, the people, blindly believing things in print, thanks to promptings intended to mislead them in their own ignorance, a blind hatred towards all conditions, which it considers above itself, for it has no understanding of the meaning of class and condition. This hatred will be still further magnified by the effects of an economic crisis, which will stop dealings on the exchanges and bring industry to a standstill. We shall create by all the secret subterranean methods open to us, and with the aid of gold, which is all in our hands. A universal economic crisis, whereby we shall throw open the streets whole mobs of workers simultaneously, in all countries. These mobs will rest delightfully to shed the blood of those whom in their simplicity of their ignorance they have envied from their cradles, and whose property they will then be able to loot. Ours they will not touch, because the moment of attack will be known to us, and we shall take measures to protect our own. We have demonstrated that progress will bring all the humans to the sovereignty of reason. Ever since that time, we have been leading the people from one disenchantment to another, so that in the end they should turn also from us in favor of that King of the blood of Zion, whom we are preparing for the world. At the present, we are, as an international force, invincible, because if attacked by some, we are supported by others. It is the bottomless rascality of the human people, whom crawl on their own bellies to force, but are merciless towards weakness, unsparing to faults and indulgent to crimes, unwilling to bear the contradictions of a free social system, but patient unto martyrdom, unto the violence of a bold despotism. It is those qualities which are aiding to independence. From the premier dictators of the present day, the human people suffer patiently and bear such abuses as, for the least of them, they would have beheaded 20 kings. What is the explanation of this phenomenon? This curious inconsequence of the masses of the people and their attitude toward what would appear to be events of the same order? It is explained by the fact that these dictators whisper to the peoples, through their agents, that through these abuses they are inflicting injury on the states with the highest purpose to secure the welfare of the people, the international brotherhood of them all, their solidarity and equality of rights. Naturally, they do not tell the people that this unification must be accomplished only under our sovereign rule. And thus, the people condemn the upright and acquit the guilty, persuaded ever more and more that it can do whatsoever it wishes. Thanks to this state of things, the people are destroying every kind of stability and creating disorders at every step. The word freedom brings out the communities of men to fight against every kind of force, against every kind of authority, even against God and the laws of nature. For this reason, we will come into our kingdom and have to erase this word from the lexicon of life, this word freedom, as implying a principle of brute force which turns mobs into bloodthirsty beasts. These beasts, it is true, fall asleep again every time when they have drunk their fill of blood, and at such times can easily be riveted into their chains. But if they be not given blood, they will not sleep, and continue to struggle.